Greetings, and welcome to Spinal Tap Horror. Here at the asylum, we're dedicated to bringing you the most hair-raising tales that send shivers down your spine. So please, sit back, relax, and count backwards from 10. The operation is about to begin.
Welcome back, listeners. How are you feeling after your first dose of Spinal Tap Horror? Right now, I'd like to take a moment and say thank you to everyone's amazing feedback on episode 1. It does truly mean a lot to me. I'd also like to take a moment to give you a little background story on how and why this podcast came to be. Now, if you're hearing this podcast, or if you found this, I'm assuming that you also know of other horror story podcasts. And one particular podcast, that being of Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. And if you do know of them, and if you're following them right now, you would know that they are hosting their Evil Idol competition. And well, I'd like to say that I am part of that competition. And to give a little background story of myself, I have never done any voice acting before. I have not tried to do anything like this in the past. Normally, I just sit around all day doing silly voices. But I do have an affinity for horror, and much like you, I also listen to scary story podcasts. Chilling Tales for Dark Nights was one of the first that I've ever listened to, along with Scary Stories Told in the Dark by Otis Gyrie, 2 amazing podcasts. And in this episode, I'd like to play you the audition that landed me a spot in the Evil Idol competition. I do a couple different voices. I narrated 2 short stories that I found to be very chilling and very fun to read. But stick around after the audition because I have one more scary story to share with you. Now, without any further ado, here's the audition.
Good evening, Fright Fangs. Crypt Keeper here. Tonight, I present to you 2 deviously delicious short stories from my Evil Idol audition.
Now, hopefully that got your attention. And I know you all must be very busy with all the submissions coming through, so I'm going to keep this brief. Tonight, I prepared 2 short stories I found on Reddit. And I did take the liberty of adding some backtracking to it, just to kind of add the immersiveness to these stories, kind of like how you would find on your podcasts. Our first short story is written to J-Core Horror and written by Jay Taylor. And the background music was done by Joris Vermi, found on Pixabay.com. This story is called The Voices. The room hums. Not walls. Not white. Just a pulse. A heartbeat louder than mine. It tells me things. Not words at first, just pressure. A pushing behind the eyes. Then the voices crawl out. Your wife doesn't love you. Your children aren't yours. Those shadows were in faces. I don't argue with them because I remember the way their mouths moved. How their laughter never really synced with the sound. I remember how their eyes lingered just a second too long, like a mask starting to slip. The hum grows teeth now. Bites down on me until my thoughts leak. Until I know the only way to be safe is to cut the fakes apart. Mother begged me once, her voice trembling. But when I replay it, her mouth twisted into a grin that wasn't hers. Her skin peeled into something white, featureless, like the walls. The voices don't scream. They guide. Soft. Calm. Certain. Kill them before they kill you. And I believe them. Because it isn't madness if it makes sense. Because the walls breathe with me. Because the faces I love melt if I stare just a little too long. I was never locked in here. I was put away from them, so I wouldn't finish what I started. But my hands still twitch, even now. 'Cause when the voices lean in, they don't sound like strangers. They sound like me. And now for our second short story. It's written by username DreadWeaver, and the background music was done by Dilo Sound, found also on Pixabay.com. I present to you, They Never Found Her Eyes. The walls of the farmhouse still bled at night. No one spoke of the Eldridge girl anymore. Not since that October when the screams stopped. Not since her mother stopped eating, her father stopped speaking, and the local priest hung himself in the bell tower. Mara was 17 when it began. Her diary, recovered weeks after her disappearance, detailed the whispers. At first she thought it was the wind. They come when the lights go out. They wear your face to ask inside. One entry was written entirely in red ink, except they never found a red pen in the house, nor a tongue. The Eldridges said she wasn't herself. They told the sheriff her eyes would start to dart to places no one stood, that her voice would echo oddly in the room like someone was copying her a half-second behind. Then the scratches began. Deep in the attic, neath old trunks and photo albums, claw marks marred the beams. Vertical gouges, too narrow for any animal, too long for any man. They led to a corner no one dared approach. It always felt full, like something watched, something that hadn't blinked in years. The family called in Father Garrison. He brought oil and verses, and left with an expression carved from horror. He burned himself to death that next day. The diary's final entry was written in a trembling hand. I saw it wear me last night. The next morning, Mara was gone. The house was cold when the search party arrived. Too cold. Every mirror had been shattered from the inside. Her bedroom was in perfect order. Bed made, curtains drawn, a single black feather on her pillow. But beneath the floorboards they found her fingernails. All 10. The trail led nowhere. No footprints, no signs of struggle. Only a thick tar-like smear across the back door that resisted all attempts to clean it. Animals refused to go near the house. Birds never landed on the roof again. And then came the knocking. Every year on the anniversary of her vanishing, the Eldridge house echoed with a single hollow knock at 3:33 a.m. No one answered. Not since the neighbor, Mr. Hall, opened the door the first year and clawed out his eyes by dawn. He said she looked so normal, that she smiled like Mara, spoke like her too, but her smile was too fixed, and her voice came from somewhere deeper than her chest. He said she was empty, but still alive in there screaming, begging. Last week, a group of teens broke into the farmhouse, just for fun, dares and giggles. Only one came back. He hasn't spoken since, but he draws, over and over, the same image. A girl with a gaping mouth and weeping sockets, standing in the attic, pointing at a mirror that shows nothing. They never found Mara's body, but every time someone goes up there, they say the mirror is a little less empty. And they never found her eyes. And there you have it, the audition that landed me a spot in Chilling Tales for Dark Knight's Evil Idol competition. Now, like I promised, I have one more short story for you. This story was written by GoreSynth and is titled There's something in my room. There's something in my room. It covers the walls, but it seems so small. It's a color I'd never seen before until now. Somewhere between light and dark. I don't know if it moves, but if it does, it only does so when I'm not looking. It speaks to me often. It's not a feeling. It's not a sound, but I can hear it. The stench is overpowering. It lingers, seeps into my pores like a thick glue, and it doesn't go away, even if I leave. There's something in my room, and it's not me. Thank you everyone so much for listening, and if you're not already, go follow Chilling Tales for Dark Nights. My submission for the contest is not out yet. Go follow their YouTube page because that is where the competition is being held this year. I encourage you to go support all the amazing voice actors that are in the competition this year. Because this year, voting is entirely up to the audience. And if you've liked what you've heard on this podcast, please leave a like or a comment down below. You can find Spinal Tap Horror on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify podcasts. All music used on this podcast can be found at pixabay.com for free of use. So once again, thank you all for listening, and I'll see you for the next operation.